Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven, approached, rolled back the stone, and sat upon it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing was white as snow. The guards were shaken with fear of him and became like dead men. Then the angel said to the woman in reply, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are seeking Jesus, the crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him. Behold, I have told you." Then they went away quickly from the tomb, fearful, yet overjoyed, and ran to announce this to his disciples. And behold, Jesus met them on their way and greeted them. They approached, embraced his feet, and did him homage. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go tell my brothers to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Picture yourself early in the morning on the first day of the week, traveling with Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to the tomb where Jesus was buried. On arriving at the tomb, there is a great earthquake, and an angel of the Lord rolls back the stone. What do you think was going through the minds of those two women who went to Jesus' tomb? Their emotional state of mind on that first Easter morning was probably similar to our emotional state of mind this Easter 2020. The emotions of the two Marys when they saw the empty tomb was fear, disbelief, confusion. Remember, they did not understand what Jesus meant when he said that he would rise from the dead. On this evening, April 11th, 2020, as we celebrate the Easter Vigil, a few of us here in church, many of you there at home, you know that the church buildings around the world are empty and locked. And your emotions might be fear, disbelief, confusion. As we do not understand this COVID-19 pandemic. Matthew's Easter Gospel that was just read is a gospel of hope and faith. Hope and faith in the risen Lord. The risen Lord who came to save us from fear, disbelief, confusion, and sin. A 4-word sentence of hope that is found throughout the Scriptures is this: do not be afraid. In the gospel passage we just heard, the angel sitting at the empty tomb says to the women, do not be afraid. And at the end of the gospel passage, Jesus says to the women, do not be afraid. Those words of Jesus and the angel are as timely for us today as when they were first spoken to the women at the tomb. This Easter, probably more than ever before, we need to hear the Lord say to us, do not be afraid. Trust me. Do not be disbelieving. Believe in me. Do not be confused. Know that I am with you. Easter is a joyful celebration of the risen Lord being with us. But notice this. Easter does not begin with joy. Easter begins with emptiness. Not one of the 4 gospel writers begins the story of Easter with the appearance of the risen Christ. But rather, all 4 gospel writers begin with the empty tomb. The gospel we just heard from St. Matthew proves that point. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary go to the tomb, and the first thing they encounter is not Jesus, but the empty tomb. It is only after they leave the empty tomb that they encounter the risen Christ. In other words, first comes emptiness, then comes rejoicing. First comes absence, then comes new life. The fear, disbelief, confusion that we feel this Easter because of the COVID pandemic is an emptiness. An emptiness that will lead us to a joyful encounter with the risen Christ. The risen Christ wants to fill our emptiness with new life as he calls us to a new relationship with him. Let us pray for each other that this Easter we will allow the resurrection of Jesus Christ to fill our minds and our hearts with his loving mercy all present.